guys, this time again. This time we're talking about the generator build monk, especially for a non-season, because in the season you're just gonna play the Indiana set if you want to push the leaderboards. But here I go with this. I try to be very quick because this has been done many times before. First off, main items are the Shenlong's Fist, Fist of Legend and Relentless Assault. You want those with cooldown reduction, both maximum cooldown. You want life per hit on at least one of them, maybe two, but that's up to you basically, or basically up to what you can find. Sometimes you just don't have a choice. Right, and it's all about buffing the generators. Like here, the maximum spirit that you can get buffs the damage of your spirit of your generators. It's what they say, and you want to keep the spirit high as maximum as high as possible, because you get the 100% buff as well when you reach it and start the draining phase of those. Okay, and since this is not evolving around a set in special in particular, you're gonna buff the generators as well with the two pieces of the Dashing Strike set of the Raiment of 1,000 Storms, because this adds attack speed and a lot of damage. This is really, really strong, and you must not use something else. You also have Death Diggers, of course, because of 100% up to 100% additional damage. Okay, it's additive damage, so it's not all that good, but still it's okay. You're going to use the Cinder Coat for the fire damage. Best case would be an ancient one like this, but with a secondary resist, probably physical. You're going to use the Mage Fists. And here there's a lot of debate, because you want cooldown reduction, high cooldown reduction in this build, and you will have to sacrifice something on the fists if you want to get cooldown reduction there. It's either attack speed or crit damage in this case. Yeah, I go without cooldown reduction because it works. It's not that bad if you don't have the maximum, but I think in the long run you're better off with some more cooldown reduction here. I wouldn't actually remove attack speed, because attack speed helps you keep the Flying Dragon procs up. Okay, next you're gonna use the Spirit Guards, of course, for everything. You need them now. And the shoulders are Dashing Strike set, Raiment of 1,000 Storms. In this case, this is re-rolled from a real Raiment 6 setup, because I have Dashing Strike there. If I get a second pair, I would go with all resistance instead of Dashing Strike damage, and that would be best, of course. Helmet is a Leoric's Crown, of course, with maximum secondary effect and good rolls. It's just what you want. Rings, going to be Focus and Restraint, both with cooldown reduction and secondary resist. You need those. And the amulet is a Hellfire amulet in my case. Unfortunately not a very good one. It's a good one, but it's not very good, because you want crit damage instead of dexterity there. But since I've crafted 700 Hellfire amulets so far, 200 since the patch, and I still don't have a useful Hellfire amulet with elemental damage, crit, and a decent passive. Yeah, but that's just my luck. Okay, the belts, String of Ears, like almost everything uses String of Ears now, at least if you're melee. And that's for the gears. The legendary gems gonna be Bane of the Trapped. There's just no alternative at all. Simplicity Strength, it's just adding a lot of damage, additive damage at that, but it also adds healing, and healing is something you like. And Gogok, of course, for the cooldown and attack speed. That's a very cool gem for that spec. Okay, the stats I have here are not perfect, but they are okay. Especially the cooldown reduction is something that you have to keep in mind, and that's 65.67% here. And that means I have perfect rolls on all slots possible. Only the fists don't have cooldown reduction. In the end, you're gonna have like 69% in this spec, because you're not going to use it on the Hellfire amulet. Okay, the passives that you're going to use, or the skills in general, is the Crippling Wave, because it's just the best damaging generator we have. It adds decent damage. It reduces the damage that the monsters are doing, because their attacks lower. It has an area of effect around you, like this, and so this has some AoE as well. Cyclone Strike, I use the Holy Rune, you're gonna see later why. Others are using the Wall of Wind for the freezing and the Ancient Path and Defenders proc, but I don't think that's necessary. Mantra of Salvation, Agility, more toughness. Inner Sanctuary, Forbidden Palace, more toughness, more damage. Infused with Light, because when the Flying Dragon proc is up, you have no problem keeping your spirit at maximum and keeping the Shenlong's buff. But in this spec, unfortunately, the Flying Dragon buff will not be up all the time. You will have long dry periods where you just don't get the proc. And in those periods, you're gonna lose your spirit and you're gonna lose the buff if you don't have Breath of Heaven. So you have to use it. And last, of course, Epiphany, Desert Shroud. Just no alternative for high grifting. Passives are Harmony. Of course, in all specs, Harmony, always. Alacrity, it's attack speed for the generators, there's no alternative. Beacon of Etar, of course, and Seize the Initiative. And you might have noticed in the necklace you're gonna use near-death experience. I think it's easy to get a necklace that is similar to this one. Most people have luck enough to get a better one pretty fast, but yeah, so you're gonna use those 5 passives. Right, about the gameplay of that spec. Oh yeah, let's talk about the Templar. I have the Templar here, it's just what's S of Johan, you don't need that here. Unity, that's mandatory in that spec, and Oculus Ring, it doesn't hurt, but he's not killing so many monsters. And the freezing of that weapon is greatly reduced since the patch, so you can use basically whatever you want here. The big thing here is the Inspire and some healing stuff that you can use. Okay, for the cube, here it is, Flying Dragon, as I mentioned before. I use the strong arm braces because I get more damage from that, and damage is always nice, and I can survive almost everything, even up in 64, 66, and possibly higher if I would get some better items, like a Mage Fist with secondary resist, or a Cindercoat with secondary resist. But I'm not pushing this too hard, it's just a generator spec, it's not my favorite. And jewelry slot is the Unity, of course. With the Templar you double your toughness, but you also need that in contrast to the Raymond 6 set. Okay, many people here are using the Ancient Path and Defenders in the cube. Here, these ones, and they use it with the Wall of Wind, so they can get more toughness in high density situations. Yeah, I don't think it's really needed, because if the density situation is so bad that you are in danger and need the Ancient Path and Defenders proc, you will die anyways, because the monsters get resistant to the freeze pretty fast, and that will just kill you, and it's not adding damage, and yeah, it's not my choice. Okay, yeah, the gameplay of that spec is a bit weird because you don't have the dashing strike active. You're gonna have to dash around with the Epiphany up. If you have Epiphany and you click a monster, you just teleport to that. It's good enough in most situations where you want to move somewhere or reposition in the fight. Problem is, in close quarters, when you're surrounded by monsters already, it happens that that it just teleports not. You try to teleport somewhere and it doesn't work. Nothing is happening. This is something that is annoying me in this spec and why I don't like it that much. And yeah, you're gonna get used to that after a while, so you will have the ability to move around on the battlefield and reposition and skip to monsters fast. Yeah, but that's mainly the thing here. Always fight in Inner Sanctuary as well, always, and keep your cooldowns active all the time. When they're off cooldown, activate them, and that's it. And then you just press left click, hold it, and right click from time to time to activate your focus and restraint buff and to suck the monsters in. And that's it. The gameplay of that spec is essentially very easy as long as you tank everything. When it starts to be hurting you, you're gonna get you're gonna get smashed several times until you learn how to move around on the field. Okay, nothing new. Enjoy it. If you like that spec, if you don't like it, use the Raymond 6. It's a good alternative. And goodbye, have fun, and good luck with especially your Hellfire Amulet.